guys, welcome back to my channel. I thought I would do something a little bit different today that isn't a vlog. I was basically digitally decluttering and discovered some old and random videos which made me really miss living and working in New York City. So before I forget all those wonderful memories, I figured I'd finally compile them into one video, something maybe you'd find somewhat entertaining, maybe? But more selfishly, it's more for me to look back on. And I also left before COVID hit, so of course the footage is only relevant to the times prior to that, so please don't take any offense, and I'm only trying to reminisce on the good because I did have some times where I really struggled living there. So yeah, I'm going to share 10 things I miss most about New York City. Of course, there are probably a billion more things that maybe I couldn't think of right off the bat, but more realistically, it's because I didn't have enough footage for it. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. First is that inspiration is everywhere. What I miss a lot is definitely the abundance of inspiration and passion that existed literally everywhere, whether it be in the form of street art or street performers. I remember walking down the street and feeling inspired all the time, knowing that there were so many people alike who are trying to follow their dreams, to perform, create, to experiment, and to really experience and take in the whole city. And it was something that I was trying to do, so I really found comfort in that. It was always eye-opening to see what all these talented artists had to offer, and it kept me really motivated and inspired to work harder every single day. Kind of going along with the first point, the second thing is that from a dancer's perspective, creating art in public is totally normal. Like dancing outdoors is totally normal. I love the atmosphere of people literally not giving a crap at all about what I was doing dancing in public, but also at the same time there's the other crowd where they are super intrigued. So in any case, New Yorkers are never fazed by what is going on and just aren't surprised if you are creating something, painting, drawing, dancing, filming on the street, and I just absolutely love that. It made me, as a performer, not scared about what I was doing, whether I was going to be judged or not, because chances are they either don't care or they love it. And it was just a great place to be able to create an experiment, and I love that energy and I love that atmosphere. The third thing I miss about New York City is definitely the overwhelming amount of performing arts programs every night in the city. There is always so much going on each night, from dance performances to musicals, concerts, talks, workshops, master classes, events, you name it. At times it was almost overwhelming to stay informed about everything, let alone be able to choose what I wanted to do. But realistically, most of the time I didn't have time for it anyway. But when I wanted to do something and time allowed it, programs never fell short, and I was always excited to try something new. Now it may be different in the city, as I know a lot of performers and dancers are struggling after COVID hit. So whenever possible, whether you've been to a dance show or not, please do try to experience one. You'll never know if you like it or not if you don't try. And I really do hope that you'll be able to support live performers wherever you are in the world, really. The fourth thing is the galleries and museums. This is something I really miss, and I was not working in the fine arts industry at the time when I was living in the city. And looking back now, it is definitely something I regret not doing more of. Visiting galleries and museums is definitely something I really miss. The abundance of art and culture in the city is just insane, and I really do wish I could have experienced and absorbed it even more than I did. And there was always something new. Exhibitions change quickly, and there was always something new to experience and try. And I really do wish I pursued going to more galleries and museums. And if I ever do visit again, that's definitely something I'm going to really take advantage of. Definitely food. There are so many options, it's absolutely insane. Going along with the idea of there's such an abundance of art and culture, there's definitely an abundance of different styles and cuisines of food in New York City. There's always something new to try, whether it be a traditional cuisine from a certain culture or it's something more experimental, you can always find something new to try. But I do have to say one thing though, that Thai food in New York City is definitely not the best. It definitely does not compare to Thai food in Southern California, particularly Thai Town in Los Angeles. The food there is definitely like in Thailand. New York City is not the best for Thai food, but it definitely does have some good Thai food and also good food in general. There's a variety of styles and food in regards to different genres and cuisines, but there's also a variety of pricing. The living cost in New York City and also food tends to be more expensive, but also there are other options such as 50-cent coffees and $2 pizzas, which just thinking of makes my mouth water.
My baby girl. My baby.
The next thing I miss is definitely the parks in New York City. I think it has to do with weather too. I miss the parks in New York City because I don't go to parks in Bangkok as much. It's not that there aren't any, and it's not that they aren't beautiful, but I think it has a lot to do with how it is too hot and too humid most of the time, and plus I'm super allergic to mosquitoes, so the idea of going to a park in Thailand is really just not as appealing to me. So yeah, I really do miss the parks in New York City. I love how whether it is a small local park or a large one like Central Park, it is really integrated into the city really well. It's smack down in the middle of the hustle and bustle, and that contrast in mood and mental state when you step into a park as you're feeling stressed or overwhelmed from the city or work is just completely indescribable, and it's different from any place I've ever lived. Seventh is the subway. Yes, I do miss it. It is convenient, it reaches everywhere you need to go. It is frequent, it may not be on time, but there are really frequent trains, so you can get to where you need to be pretty much close to the time you need to be there. And it is totally and completely on a different level than the sky trains and subways in Bangkok. I really do miss the MTA, despite the amount of times I've seen people pee on the train, gotten startled by rats running across the platforms, experienced the train breaking down as I'm trying to get to work or school, been late waiting for trains on the platform, and felt really uncomfortable taking it at 3 or 4 a.m. and trying to figure out which trains are still running or not. I really miss it, I really do, and it's definitely the best. The eighth thing is walking. I actually really do love walking, and it's actually one of the reasons why I decided to move from Southern California to New York City. I would prefer walking over driving any day. So getting to walk everywhere and anywhere in New York City was a huge convenience, and I absolutely loved it. Walking also helps me process things, relieve stress, and gives me the chance to really experience and take in the city fully. It's actually one of the things that I miss the most, to be honest. Another thing is that here in Thailand, we actually have to drive to places, just like in Southern California. The public transportation isn't as convenient in Thailand, or in Bangkok in particular, and the cost of public transportation actually isn't cheap. It's actually quite high in proportion to the salaries that are given in Thailand. I really do miss walking, and I wish I could do it more often. Ninth is snow. Oh my god, I miss snow. But I do have mixed feelings. because I do miss snow and how pretty it is when the snow falls and when the city is covered in snow and it's like white winters. I absolutely love that, but at the same time, I hate slush and walking on black ice. I've slipped a few times and it was not pleasant. And also just the cold and snow makes me feel really sleepy and unmotivated, so that's not good for work. But regardless, I think that it's really fun to play with, and so I do hope to be able to visit a place where I could experience snow for a short period of time soon in the future when traveling is allowed and safe again. So yeah, I hope to be able to experience snow again soon. The last thing is the whole atmosphere, the hustle culture and the vibes. This almost feels like cheating because it is pretty vague and all-encompassing, but I'm gonna do it anyway. I don't even know if I can fully explain it, but I do hope that watching the clips will help a bit more. Anyway, I miss the fast-paced lifestyle, the hustle culture, and the feeling of always being on the go, especially for work. This is actually the work style that I prefer. I am not the most patient, and I do love efficiency and immediate effectiveness when it comes to work. But of course, lifestyle-wise, for me on the personal end, it definitely was not the healthiest mentally and emotionally. So yeah, I'll get into that in just a moment, but back to the point is that I love the fast-pacedness, the energy, the vibe, and the mood, especially at night. It really is a city that never sleeps. I remember walking home at 3, 4, or 5 a.m., even when the sun is about to rise, and it's still not that quiet. The cityscape and the lights at night are definitely some of the things that I miss the most. Along with that, what I love about the city is also how it has a mix of historical architecture and new buildings that are always being built. The ability to preserve the old yet always coming up with something new is especially unique and apparent in New York City, and I absolutely love that about it. Most of all, what contributes to the whole vibe of the city are definitely the people and the diversity. I absolutely miss my friends, and I hope that they are all doing well and staying safe, and I do hope I'll be able to visit soon when it is safe to do so.
It's because I'm like 5.
I know. So yeah, those were the 10 things that I miss the most about New York City. Though there are so many things I love about the city, at one point it did become too overwhelming and overstimulating for me. Some of the same things that I love the most and also miss the most are also some of the things that really contributed to my stress and eventually burnout, which is why, like I mentioned, I had to take a mental break. It was definitely a hard decision to decide whether or not to move out to New York City, and as much as I miss it now, I definitely do not regret moving to Thailand. In Bangkok, it is totally different, and there are definitely some things that really frustrate me here, but I wanted a new challenge, a change, and I'm definitely getting it. Though I grew up in Bangkok, working in Bangkok is definitely a whole new experience. I am enjoying it, and I found another path that I had not expected. So the question is, would I ever live in New York City again? And I would say no to long term, but I would definitely say yes to a short term period, like a few years. and if I ever got the opportunity to, I would definitely not turn it down. It's a fun but hard city to be in, but if I ever got the chance, I would definitely do it again. And if you ever got the chance, I would definitely highly recommend it. I think everyone should experience it once because it definitely is worth it for both your personal growth and career growth if you choose to. Anyway, that concludes today's video. I'm going to tag on an 11th thing I missed as a bonus, which are rooftops, including both visiting and also sneaking on rooftops of tall buildings in New York City. I hope you enjoyed this video and seeing some of the clips that I filmed a few years ago. Have a good one and hope you'll join me next time for a new vlog. Bye!
I need some time to be okay.